the box would always come down on little before Christmas from the attic. It was torn up and faded and ripped, but it was always the same box, and it was my favorite part of Christmas because in the box held our manger scene, and my dad would always save it for me because he knew it was one of my favorite things to do. And I'd set up the little barn that my dad had made, and we even had to kind of fashion it with some sticks to keep the roof on. There would always be the same hay. The figures would always be wrapped up in the same old newspaper. And I'd start with the insignificant figures like the shepherd, who didn't seem to really have much to do with the Christmas story. He would always go towards the back, and the animals too. I'd always try to figure out a way that the angel could go on top without her falling or breaking. That was always my biggest challenge. And then I would start with the wise men. I always loved to look at their faces. Wonder if they really were really wise. Wondered what it was like for them to travel. I always loved when they were stooped in reverence. And then I would put Joseph in the right place, looking down. And then I would get Mary, and it seemed like with every figure, the time would get more and more sacred somehow. And I'd always wonder how she must have felt. And I'd place her next to Joseph and just kind of gaze at the scene. And then I would get the baby Jesus out of the box. And what I loved about getting baby Jesus out of the box was that's when Christmas became real and God became close. Because it seemed like in church, in that big cathedral type place, he would often seem so far away. I would look up at the ceiling and wonder where he was a lot of times. But when I looked at baby Jesus, when I set up the manger scene, God would become close. So when I think about how people use the word God, a lot of times, people use that word easily. A lot of people say God and believe in God, but what do they mean when they say God? For me, it means Emmanuel, God with us. That's why Christmas is so special. It even says in the book of Matthew, it says, all this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. The virgin will be with child and will give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. So when I use the word God, I mean Jesus, God with us. So I just want to say Merry Christmas. And in the Merry Christmas, my prayer for you is that Emmanuel will be close to your heart, that it will truly be God with us this Christmas.